Hi guys, Sam here, and I'm back with another video for Lawn Fawn. Today I'm creating a card with Furry and Bright, Joy to All, Lift the Flap Tree backdrops, and the Fairy Dust paste. I also use some other products later, but I'll show you those. It's actually the Puffy Cloud borders and the Stitched Hillside borders. I also use the new Snowflake background stencil. And that's the products. I should plan out better for next time. I started by stamping all of my images, and I am going to color them with Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, which are like a watercolor marker. So I start by spritzing some water off to the side, and I get my empty water brush wet, and then wipe off the excess water on a scrap piece of paper towel. And then I start by adding my first color and then pulling out the color with the damp water brush marker. Once I do that, I go back in with the darker color, go to the same areas that I want to add shading, and either use the water brush again to pull it out, or use one shade lighter or a little bit lighter marker to pull out that darker color. I am coloring all of these cute little puppies in different shades of browns. Nothing fancy. I think the fanciest I got was this spotted one. But other than that, they're all pretty simple, but just adorable. I am planning a little Christmas scene for these cute and playful puppies, and so they all are going to have some accessories. One of them is going to be wearing these super cute reindeer antlers, which I just love. One is going to be pulling some Christmas lights, and I mean, no surprise, I had to color them rainbow. Is there another way to color Christmas lights? Reds, greens, yeah, those would all work as well. But I was like, I must add some rainbow. I colored just a little bit of shading on the tiny speech bubbles, some light grays on the bones, and I wasn't sure what color to do the presents, so I was like, I'll go back to those. And these little lights that I'm coloring in rainbow are so tiny, but I still added, I mean, I'm going to put it in air quotes, shading to the lights. Nothing crazy, just like a darker color and then a lighter color. Sometimes I even use 3, which is a bit much for these tiny little lights, but that's how I color rainbow. So that's what I did for those little guys, even though they're small. I ended up going with just like reds and pinks for the presents and the stocking, and finished them with either like a beige or really almost like a neutral pink for the ribbon and for the top of the stockings. And oh yes, the bows for the bones are also red. And that pretty much finishes up the coloring for these cards. So cute. Then I cut the Lift the Flap Tree backdrops from white cardstock, and I'm going to add some color with Distress Oxiding. So I started by doing everything with Fossilized Amber. Then I went over the edges with Vintage Photo. And then I did the edges again with Walnut Stain, just to make them a little bit darker, add a little bit more shading. It's nothing perfect. You can see it's kind of patchy, but I didn't mind. I also used Vintage Photo on the inside of the flaps. Since you're going to lift them up, I wanted them to have color as well. I then moved on to ink blending the sky. And I'm using my favorite sky colors. I've used these on so many cards, but I love them still. I'm starting with Wilted Violet at the top, and then adding Blueprint Sketch, and just going back and forth blending them so that it's not a hard line between the two colors. Then I moved on to Mermaid Lagoon. Again, Mermaid Lagoon, Blueprint Sketch, Mermaid Lagoon, just going over each other back and forth. And then I went to the last color, which actually ends up being covered up, but it was Salvage Patina. And then same thing, I go over the Mermaid Lagoon, then I bring the Mermaid Lagoon down a little bit, back over a whole lot till it's pretty seamless. Then I splattered it all with water. And once that was dry a little bit, I used the snowflake background stencils. And I thought I was going to maybe use the snowy backdrop stencil, but I don't end up using that one. And here I'm just lining up how I want the snowflakes to peek through those trees. And then I'm going to tape the stencil from the back of the card so it doesn't move. And I'm going to use the new, first I'm going to use a very thin layer of white embossing paste so that the color stands out. Then I'm using a thicker layer of the fairy dust paste so it's sparkly white. And it's so pretty. I love how that looks. Then I'm going to take some black cardstock and I'm just tracing through the flaps onto the black cardstock with my pencil. And I'm going to cut out around those pencil lines, not close to the pencil lines. And I'm going to use that to go behind my flaps of the trees so that it looks like it's a dark little nuggety hole for my little presents and surprises. While I had the black cardstock out, I thought, well, I might as well heat emboss the sentiment because I knew I was going to heat emboss it in white. So I'm just stamping it and heat embossing, and it's done. Magic. The magic of video. It's all done. Here I'm going to line up my tree flap with the dry background. It's just dry now, the snowflakes that are so sparkly. And just like placing my backdrop on top. Then I'm going to glue down the very roughly cut little black circles, ovals, and that's it. Then it's like, you don't want the sky to show through the tree black backdrops, right? Then I decided, here's the puffy cloud borders that I mentioned earlier. I'm putting it behind the trees, so it looks like the trees are, it's a whole forest of trees. And then I'm going to glue the tree backdrop on top of that layer of snow, the mounds of snow. And I start by using my tape adhesive, and then I go to the handy dandy glue. I'm using both the glue and the tape adhesive because the snowflakes, they do add texture, and I want to make sure that it sticks and it's not going anywhere. Then I'm just going to trim it all off so it's all even Stevens along all the edges. Then I can add my stitched hillside bank of snow. Again, tape, glue, all the things, and then trim it. And I just love how that looks, how the snow is behind and in front of the trees. This is the fun part. This is where I get to add my scene and make the whole scene. I am hiding that cute little puppy with the reindeer ears, antlers in one of the tree flaps. I think that's adorable and funny. Then another one of the tree flaps is going to be some bones from Santa. And then the last tree flap is going to be hiding some presents in a bone. And I think these puppies are just going to enjoy everything that they find. I love it. So I just glue everything directly behind the tree flap so that they can close. Then I am attaching my little puppy with his string of lights. I love this puppy who is reaching up to the middle tree. He knows what's in there, and it's the bones. This last little puppy has his stockings. He's ready to carry his treats home. And I'm just setting my acrylic block on top of one of them so that it dries. And then I wanted to add these cute little speech bubbles that say rough. And I decided, won't it be so funny if it's coming from this tree flap? Like, why is the tree barking? And then you open the tree flap and you see it's the cute little reindeer puppy. So fun. Lastly, I added my sentiment strip which is popped up with foam tape that I struggled with getting the release paper off of, but finally won. Sam versus paper crafting, 1-0. That's the current score. And that's my card. Easy peasy. And then look at all these cute surprises. What a fun winter scene. I just love how it came out. Which treat do you think the puppies love the most? I have to say, I think the bones are going to win. Thanks so much for checking this out with me. And be sure to check out this card on the Lawn Fawn blog and read all about it. Bye!